乗客名簿。
The train still hasn't left.
当分動かなそうですね。隣の204号室へ行かないとな。
Monsieur Michel, I
少し
must
質問
ask
して
you
も
a
よろしい
few
かな。
questions if you don't mind.
I will do
今日もでき
everything
る
I
ことな
can
ら
to
何でも。
First of all,
あなた
tell
の自
me
身の
help.
ことを教え
about
てください。
Very well. My name,
Pierre
as you know,
Michel.
is Pierre
出
Michel.
身はカレ
I'm
ー
from
で
Calais.
す。
I've been with the company
今
for
会社に
over
15年以上勤
15
めておりま
years.
す。
Thank
あり
you.
がとう。違うな。57歳ぐらい。韓流カナダ人。なんか違う。
This is wrong, but I'm never far from the truth.
ヒント。スウェー人である料理人でもない。30歳以上で心配性でもない。50人のフランス人の人だ。フランス人の57歳で管理者か。
Et voilà.
ボラーだ。乗客名簿。
Can you provide me with a listing of the passengers and
部屋
their
番号
rooms,
付きのもの。
please?
Yes,
もちろん
certainly.
です。喫煙者。
Are
タバ
you
コ
a
吸います
smoker?
か？
Indeed.
電子タ
Do
バ
you
コは？
smoke e-cigarettes?
No.
いや、普通のタバコだ
Tobacco
けです。
only.
I
なたの証
would
言のも
like
とに
to
酒の出来事を再現したい
reconstruct with your help the events of last night. Monsieur
ラテッ
Ratchet
ト氏が部屋に戻
retired
ったの
to
はい
bed.
つ？
When?
Almost immediately after dinner, sir.
で、ベオグラー
Actually,
ドを出
before
発
we
する
left
時でした。
Belgrade.
Did
その後
anybody
大
go
学に
into
入っ
his
た者は？
compartment after that?
His valet,
その
monsieur.
マスター。
Monsieur
です。
Masterman. And then his
相
secretary
性
is
の
a
マッ
young
クイーンさん。
American
あと若い
gentleman.
アメリカ人の
Monsieur
紳士。
McQueen.
And that is
彼
the
の
last
姿見て
time
話
you
を聞いた
saw
のはそ
or
の時
heard
が
of
最
him?
後。
No,
いい
monsieur.
え。
You
12時
forget
40
that
分
Monsieur
頃に
Ratchet
彼が
rang
呼
his
び出
bell
しをした
around
のが忘れですか？
12:40 a.m.
停
Soon
車後
after
す
we
ぐ
had stopped.
彼の部屋はノック
I
すると
knocked
フ
at
ラン
the
ス語で
door,
こう
but
叫び
he
まし
called
た。
out in French. Ce n'est rien, je me suis trompé. I then left to answer
なんか別
another
の部屋に
bell
呼び鈴が鳴
that
った
had
ので
just
そちらに
rung.
行きました。なんつったんだ。1時15分の存在。
Where were you
15
at
分頃どこにいまし
1:15
た
a.m.?
か？
I was sitting
最
on
後尾
my
の椅子に座
little
って
seat
廊下を
at
見
the
張っ
end
て
of
い
the
まし
car,
た。
facing up the corridor.
Are you
本当ですか？
sure?
I left
1時過ぎ
a
頃に
little
少し
after
席を
1
立ち
a.m.
まし
to
た。
speak about the snow with my
雪の
colleague
ことを
Jean
バーにいる
in
ジャ
the
ンに
bar
話してい
car.
たんで
I
す。
came back later.
戻ってくる
There
と呼
was
び
a
出しがあ
call.
ってその時あな
I
たとお
remember
話ししたん
speaking
です
to
が
you.
ああそう
Indeed,
だ
I remember.
続けてくださ
Carry
い。
on.
It was the
アメリカ
American
人ハーバー
lady,
さんでした。
Madame Hobart. She
彼女
thought
の
she
部屋に
saw
誰か
a
いるとい
man
うん
in
で
her
す。
compartment. Then, around
その後1
1:50
時50
a.m.,
分頃マ
I
ックイーン
made
さ
the
んのベ
bed
ッド
for
で
Monsieur
息をし
Ratchet's
ました。
secretary, Monsieur McQueen. He had spent
彼
the
は
evening
アーバーソ
talking
ン
with
と
the
タイとおしゃ
English
べりして
Captain
夜を過
Arbuthnot.
ごして
At 2
2
a.m.,
時頃
I
持ち場
returned
の
to
と
my
私は
place
夜明け
and
まで
stayed
そ
there
こにい
until
まし
dawn.
た。最後に停車した駅。
What
最
is
後に
the
停車
last
したあの駅
station
は
where we stopped?
Vinkovsky.
Could
その
someone
出
have
てた
come
のは
on board?
忙しくて覚えておりませ
Possibly.
ん。
I
健康の
was very
席ダイ
busy.
ヤが遅れていま
Owing
した。
to the weather, we were a few minutes late. We
出
left
発
at
したのは11時
12:10
10分で
a.m.
す。ほう。では、次行ってみようか。ここだな。
Good morning, madam. I am
エ
Hercule
キュール・
Poirot.
ポールです。
Caroline
キャロライン・
Hubbard.
ハーバートさん。
What can I do for you,
どういう
Mr.
ものなんで
Poirot?
しょう。
I am
悪
the
い知らせがあ
bearer
りま
of
して。
unfortunate news.
It's
この騒ぎ
obvious
なら
without
き
the
っと何
commotion
かあ
that
ったんで
something
しょ
has
うね。
happened.
Madame
ハーバートさん、
Hubbard,
お
I'm
隣の部屋
afraid
の
your
ラチ
neighbor,
ェット氏
Monsieur
が
Ratchet,
昨夜何
was
者かによって
murdered
殺
last
害さ
night.
れました。
Oh my
やっ
god.
ぱりそうだった
I
の
knew
ね。
it. I knew it.
I would like
い
to
つか
ask
質
you
問さ
some
せてくださ
questions,
い。
but
でも、
first,
まずは部屋を調
may
べさ
I
せて
inspect
よろ
your
しいです
room?
か？
Of
こっ
course.
ちからお
Yes,
願いする
you
わ。
must.
それはどう？アメリカ人で60代で管理職。あ、 違
I
った。
must admit I'm not right
今回は
this
違っ
time.
た。
I was visiting my daughter. She works at the American Embassy in Istanbul. I told her she'd never find a husband there. Since I wanted to see Paris on my way home, she told me I should take this high-class train. I can't wait to see Paris. It looks beautiful in the movies, but it couldn't be more beautiful than Schenectady in the good old US of A. That's where I'm living now.
ヒント。何でもヒント使いすぎ。とっても外交的。婦人か。60歳以上。アメリカ人で仕事はしてないようだ。あ、主婦か。惜しかったね。当たり。
That was
安
easy.
いものだ。なんだこれ。
Here is a
ジャケッ
jacket
トのボタ
button.
ン、オリエント
It
急
bears
行
the
のロゴ
logo
がデ
of
ザイン
the
されてい
Orient
る。
Express.
んで
The luxury of the Orient Express is present in every detail.
はい。はい。何もないね。なんかあんのか。よいしょ。もう一丁。いや、何もないよね。で、ここか。よっと。
This door
これは
connects
ちょっ
to
と
Monsieur
やってい
Ratchet's
いか。
compartment. It was
こ
latched
ちら
from
は
this
鍵
side.
金がかかっている。昨夜のこと。Madame,
please tell me
何さ
about
れてまし
last
たか。
night.
The murderer
犯
was
人がこの
right
部
here
屋
in
に
my
いたんだ
compartment.
ね。
I woke
暗
up
闇の中で船が
all
ず
in
っ
the
と起き
dark
てい
it
た。
was. I was just so scared I couldn't scream.
帯足
I
ボタンを
pressed
押
the
した
call
の。
button. I
なんだ
pressed
なん
and
だ。
pressed. I heard
その
footsteps
廊下で
running in the
走り
corridor,
聞こえてきて、
then a
次に
knock
ノ
on
ッ
my
クを
door.
すると。
Come in,
開
I
いてと
screamed.
叫んで、す
And
ると
I
同時に
switched
部屋
on
の
the
明か
lights
り
at
を
the
つけ
same
た。
time. And would
で
you
も信
believe
じ
it?
られないことが、
There
そこには
wasn't a
誰もいなかっ
soul there.
You
But I
think he
don't
went
know
back
how to
into the
do
other compartment?
How do
た。
I
そんな
know
の信
where
じ
he
られない
went?
わ。
I had my
ここに
eyes
ずっ
shut
と閉じてい
tight.
たし、そ
The
の後車
conductor
掌が
came
来
in.
た。
I told the man what had
何
happened,
かあった話したけど、
and
信じて
he
もらえなか
didn't
ったみ
seem
た
to
いね。
believe me. I asked him to search
人
the
は部屋
room,
を調べ
but
て
he
も何も
found
見つからなか
nothing.
っ
I told the
た。好き
conductor
な
to
扉
look
を
at
調
the
べるよ
door
うに
between
彼
the
に頼んだわ。
compartments. And sure enough,
そしたら
it
開け金
wasn't
が外れ
bolted.
てたの。それです。
Well, I soon saw to that. I told
一
him
緒
to
にか
bolt
け
it.
直してもら
Then
っ
and
た。
there.
ほう。連結道。
How is it you
何で
didn't
急な
bolt
鍵
the
金を
door
外しといた
between
ので
the
すか。
two compartments?
But I
外してな
had.
いわ。あのスウェーデン人
Well,
に
as a
確
matter
認
of
してもらっ
fact,
たのよ。
I asked that Swedish lady,
オル
Olsen,
ソン、グレタ、
Greta,
彼女が
if it
大
was
丈夫って
bolted,
言うか。
and she said it was.
How
どう
was
して
it
自
you
分で
could
確
not
認しなかった
see
んで
for
すか。
yourself?
I was already
そう
in
床に
bed,
ついて
and
た
my
し、
toiletry bag
私
was
の化
hanging
粧
on
バ
the
ッ
hook
グ
of
が
the
どうの
door.
服にか
I
かって
couldn't
私
see
のベ
the
ッドから
latch
掛
from
け
where
金が見
I
えなかった
was.
です。
What time
掛
was
け金
it
の
when
確
you
認を彼女
asked
に
her
頼ん
to
だ
do
のは
this
何時
for
頃
you?
ですか。
Oh, it must have been
10時半
around
から45分あ
10:30
た
or
りだったと思う。
10:45 p.m. She'd come
彼
along
女
to
はア
see
ス
if
ピ
I
リンを
had
もら
an
いに来たの。
aspirin.
でも私の部
But
屋と
instead of
間違
opening
い。
my door, she opened Mr.
ライチ
Ratchet's
さん
door
は部
by
屋のドアを
mistake.
開けたのよ。
He
彼
said
はす
something
ごく
quite
無礼
rude,
な
like,
感じで、
"Not a chance,
ばあさん
lady,
は
you're
無理
too
だって言
old."
ったの。彼女はショックを受けながら入ってきたわ。
She came in. I told
そし
her
てグレ
where
イ
to
さん
find
は
the
私の化
aspirin,
粧
and
バ
she
ッグから
got
ア
it
ス
out
ピ
of
リンを
my
取り出し
toiletry
た。
bag.
かわいそう
Poor
に。
girl,
夕
she
べはよ
didn't
く
have
眠
a
れ
good
なかった
night.
でしょう
The
ね。
same could be
知ら
said
って
for
そう
Monsieur
ですね。
Ratchet. It appears
生前
Mademoiselle
最後
Olsen
ラッシュ
may
と
be
見
the
たのはマ
last
ドマゼル・オーリ
person
ソン
to
だ。
see Ratchet alive.
いい人が書かれたハンカチ。現代
Is this
風。
your
これあん
handkerchief?
たのハンカチ？
No,
いいえ。
not at all.
Yet it
That's
is
a-
embroidered
oh,
with an
H
initial H, like your name.
I don't
さあね、
care. It's
私
not
のものじゃ
mine,
ないし、
and I
そ
would
もそも
certainly never buy something so
そんな品
impractical
よ
as
くな
that
派手なもの
frilly
は買わない
thing.
わ。あ、そう。喫煙者ですか？
Are you a smoker?
まさ
No,
か。喫煙は最悪の習慣よ。
filthy habit.
ボタン。
I
テーブルの上
found
にジ
a
ャケットの
jacket
ボタンがあり
button
ました。
on
これ
your
は
table. It looks like it belongs to
列車の従業員の
a
列車の
train
作れたものですね。
employee.
列
The
車のロゴ
button
を紹介
bears
さ
the
れた。
logo of the Orient Express.
Well, of
そりゃ
course, the
そうよ。
conductor
駐車
came
場
in
部屋に
last
入った
night,
か
but
ら。
he
でも
didn't
テ
go
ーブル
near
の
that
近くに
table.
し
Still,
かしおそらくボ
it's
タ
a
ン操
safe
作の
bet
もの
that
で
it
すよ
belongs
ね。
to the conductor. I'll check
後で
his
彼の
jacket
ジャケットを
later
調べて
to be sure.
す。
I have not finished
部屋の調査
inspecting
終わって
your
ない。
room.
よろし
If
く。
you don't mind,
まだ終わってないの？あ、これ
let's see if Mrs. Rubard was telling the truth about the latch of the connecting door.
うん。
This hook
Oh,
is
no, no, sorry,
probably
no,
where
no,
Mrs.
show
Rubard
back
hung her
hook.
toiletry bag. This hook is
あ、で、もしかしてこっから取り出して、それだ、バッグだ。で、これをここに置く。ドン。いや、見えんじゃん。
I
バ
can
ッグがかかっ
see
て
the
も
latch
ここから入ら
very
ない。
well
は
from
っきり。
here, even with the toiletry bag attached. I'll have to
Robert,
clear
sono
that up
tenuti
with
di-
Mrs. Rubard.
いけないね。いいですか。手がれた
Mrs.
Robert,
Rubard, you told me that the door
Mr.
connecting the two
Rubard,
compartments was closed, correct?
Yes, it was, as I told you. I was already in bed and my toiletry bag was hanging on the hook of the door. I couldn't see the latch from where I was. That's why I asked Miss Olsen to check if it was closed.
対決。バットの中にいて、小学服にかかっていた。だから金は見えなかったの。見えなかったのおかしくないですか？
Are you sure
あなたの
everything
証
you
言
told
すべ
me
て確
is
信を持ってい
accurate,
ますか？
Madame Rubard?
Of course,
もちろん私には
I
記
have
憶
an
力がいい。
excellent memory.
先が見えていた。
Mrs. Rubard,
小
I
学校テストしてみ
tested
ました
putting your
よ。
toiletry bag on the
あの
door
フッ
hook
クが
as
か
you
かってた
told
ん
me.
ですよ。
From your bed, you can
はっきり
easily
見えま
see
す
the
ね。
latch on the
という
door.
ことで
The
した。
toiletry bag
そんな
does
ことあ
not
りえ
hide
ま
the
せん。
latch at all.
Are you saying
嘘をついて
I'm
るってそんな
lying?
化け方にも
It
よ
may
る
have
んじ
been
ゃない？
stuck somehow in a different position, or I may
暗
not
く
have
て見え
seen
なか
it
っ
in the
た。
darkness, or I
見る
didn't
気がない
think
だけ
to
だったかも
look,
ね。
you irritating man.
Details
細部が
matter.
大事なんです。人が
A
何度も
man
殺
has
され
been
ているん
most
ですよ。
savagely murdered. You'll excuse
嘘
me
と
if
真
I
実を
attempt
見分
to
けたいだけで
separate
す。
the
ご協
truth
力をお
from
願
the
いします
false.
Forget
小
my
学校よりも
toiletry
侵入
bag
者は
and
誰な
focus
の？
on
そいつは
who
ザク
entered
さん
my
を殺した後
compartment.
で
Probably
私の部屋に入ってきた。
ratchet.
Madame Rubard is a
なかなか
force
難
to be
敵だ
reckoned
な。
with.
まあ、
But
し
I
かしまだ
suspect
聞
I'm
きたい
not
ことがある。
done with her. Thank you for your assistance, Madame.
ご協力ありがとう。さあ考えよう。ミシェル・シゴ。列車に乗るし。矢を出るのは死ぬ。こらへんか？なんか違う？違う、なんか違うけどそんな気がするな。こっちかな、侵入かな。で、戻って。 ち場にとどまる子だもんな。あ、これがこっち。よっこうで、こうで、こうで、こうだ。どうだ。立ってたよ。Yes, だね。殺人犯のミシェル氏に目撃されなかった。どうやってまだ推理するために役立つか。20分。ああ、そうだね。止まってるして、なおかつ持ち場にない。イエス。利用して目撃されることなく逃走することができた。
While Monsieur Michel was chatting with Monsieur Fauchet in the bar car between 1 a.m. and 2 a.m., the murderer could have escaped Ratchet's room without being seen. I'm right again. That happens to me a lot. This direction looks promising. According to the information I have, this is a solid choice. Monsieur Edward Masterman, I believe. May I ask you some questions?
I can barely talk. I have a terrible toothache.
We have a doctor on board the train. Perhaps...
I do not need a doctor. I use essential oils. If you can find my flask of clove oil in my box, I would be grateful.
Fine, if you insist. I will help you. By the smell, I think that the jojoba oil spilled on the other bottles, leaving their labels illegible. I must find another way to find which one is Masterman's toothache remedy. The weighing scale is soaked in jojoba oil. It's unusable. Ah, this old scale will do the job. To start, I must first arrange the vials from the lightest to the heaviest. To start, I must... Now that I know the order, I think that I can easily guess which one is the clove oil. Here is Monsieur Masterman's remedy. Here is your remedy. I hope it will help.
Thank you very much, sir. Ah, well, I can finally speak without too much pain. I'm ready to answer your questions.
You are Monsieur Ratchet's valet?
Yes, sir, that is correct.
Were you told that your employer was murdered?
Yes, sir. A very shocking occurrence.
You are Monsieur Ratchet's valet?
Yes, sir, that is correct.
Were you told that your employer was murdered?
Yes, sir. A very shocking occurrence.
I'm right again. That happens to me a lot. At what hour did you last see Monsieur Ratchet?
It must have been around 9 p.m., sir. That or a little after. I went to bed around 10:30 p.m., same as the person who shares my room, Mr. Foscarelli. He almost immediately began snoring.
What did you do then?
I read, sir, and I spent a while soothing my toothache with clove oil and listening to the snoring.
Did you hear anything during the night?
Yes, my roommate's snoring.
Are you a smoker?
Yes, sir. I have a cigarette now and then to relax.
Tell me about your employer, Monsieur Ratchet.
I've been working for him for 9 months. I should not wish to speak ill of the dead, but he was not a gentleman, sir.
Did you know that he had enemies?
Yes, sir. I heard him discussing some threatening letters, sir, with Mr. McQueen.
Did he mention these letters to you?
He had been reading a letter when I came in. He asked me if I was the one who put it in his compartment. I told him that I had done no such thing, and he should report it to the police at the next station.
How did he respond?
He laughed, sir.
You're joking.
I do not joke, sir.
Forgive me, I can see you do not. Was he taking sleeping pills?
Always when traveling by train, sir. He said he couldn't sleep otherwise. Last night he asked me to give him 2. I did so, along with a glass of water. He dissolved them in the water.
Did you see him drink the water?
No, sir. I left right after I gave him the pills.
Was Monsieur Ratchet a smoker?
No. He finds smokers disgusting.
Can you tell me again why you gave sleeping pills to Monsieur Ratchet?
Yes, I gave him the pills because when he takes the train, he has trouble sleeping. The letter must have worried him. He specifically asked me to prepare the sleeping pills. I didn't see him drink the water with the pills in it.
I see nothing to prove he's lying. Monsieur, I believe you are not telling me the truth.
What? How can you say that?
He received threatening letters. One, it seems, last night. Did you know he had a gun under his pillow? And even asked for my help to watch over him? I find it strange that he asked you for sleeping pills when he was afraid for his life and prepared to defend himself.
I'm sure I don't know. Maybe to calm his nerves, maybe out of habit.
It makes no sense.
Wait, please. Isn't it possible that Mr. Ratchet asked me to prepare the pills, but didn't plan to drink them for some reason?
It is possible. But I am a student of character, monsieur, and the Monsieur Ratchet you describe is not the man I met.
If you'll excuse me, my toothache is getting worse again.
I'm afraid this time you must prepare your own clove oil. I believe I am addressing Monsieur Hector McQueen.
Guilty as charged.
I beg your pardon?
Oh, sorry. Just an expression. My father used to say it.
You must have had an interesting childhood. I am Hercule Poirot.
No need to be modest. You're a detective.
You are Monsieur Ratchet's secretary?
I am Mr. Ratchet's secretary. Just over a year. I mainly take care of translating certain texts for him. Mr. Ratchet only speaks English.
Prepare yourself for a shock. Your employer, Monsieur Ratchet, is dead.
So they got him after all.
What do you mean? You are assuming he was murdered?
I know he had enemies.
What can you tell me about Monsieur Ratchet?
He was American. He was an antiques dealer. I don't know much more. Mr. Ratchet never talked about himself or his life, but I think Ratchet wasn't his real name, and he left the United States to run away from something, or someone.
Yes?
He started getting letters, threatening letters.
Do you still have them?
I have one.
Did you know that Monsieur Ratchet had asked for my help?
Asked you? No, I didn't know.
He knew he was in danger. When did you last see him?
Last night around 10 o'clock, I should say.
Did you like your employer, Monsieur McQueen?
No, I did not. He was, I'm sure, a cruel and dangerous man.
Can you tell me your movements last night?
I went back to my compartment. I read a little. In Belgrade, I went out onto the platform to smoke, but it was cold. I quickly went back in. I then went to Mr. Ratchet's compartment to take some dictation for him. I left around 10 o'clock. I saw Captain Arbuthnot. We ended up chatting in my compartment. Then we went out on the platform to quickly stretch our legs at Vinkovsky. He left around 2 o'clock.
Thank you. I will need to check Monsieur McQueen's story with Captain Arbuthnot. I found a diary in Monsieur Ratchet's safe. Did you know about it?
I kept a business appointment book, but I know he had a personal diary as well. That looks like it.
Are you a smoker?
Yes, I smoke cigarettes. I've tried to quit, but no luck.
Can you give me this letter, please?
Of course, here it is.
Was Monsieur Ratchet a smoker?
No, he hated the smell of smoke.
The train is completely trapped because of the avalanche. Hopefully, not for too long. I found a button from an Orient Express staff jacket. Did you lose one by any chance?
No, monsieur. As you can see, I have all my buttons. It is not mine.
So, Poirot, I hope you are progressing in your investigation.
I have not finished yet, but it is progressing, yes. I still have many questions that must be answered. I will report to you as soon as I can. The Orient Express bar is certainly well stocked. Haha! Golden mustache. impersonated Ratchet by calling Monsieur Michel to make it seem that Ratchet was still alive at 12:37 a.m. Et voilà. No, not good. My little gray cells did not let me down. Very well, I choose to go this way. This is the most likely answer.
So, my friend, have you found our killer?
Not yet, but I will tell you what I have learned.
Please.
Our assassin could have gotten on the train at Vinkovsky disguised as a conductor, entered Ratchet's room and killed him. Then he walked out through Madame Hubbard's connecting door, where he lost a button from his jacket. He had to wait for Monsieur Michel to be absent. He waited too long. The train had left the station.
He was trapped aboard.
Indeed. He had opened the window to make it look that he'd escaped that way. However, if he waited until the train stopped again due to snow, his footprints would have been found.
The murderer is still among us, on the train.
There's a problem with the second-class toilets.
What now?
All morning passengers have been complaining that the door is locked, so I went to check. I knocked, but no one answered. I didn't think I should open it without speaking to you first.
You did well, Monsieur Michel. Lead the way.
I use my master key.
ご視聴ありがとうございました。コメント、高評価、チャンネル登録ぜひお待ちしております。毎日18時に投稿しております。